Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Tara Martinez.
Edition of Ricky Ritzel's Broadway. That was the luscious Tara Martinez serenading the most popular song from our first musical, Finian's Rainbow. The music is by Burton Lane, the lyrics by Yip Harburg, and the book by Harburg and Fred Zadie. Now, anyone who's familiar with the show knows it concerns 4 different aspects. Finian, who's depending on that pot of gold, and his daughter Sharon, who've roamed from Ireland to Rainbow Valley in America's Deep South. Woody and his sister, Susan the Silent, who will be played by Randy tonight. I had to go there. Low blow. Og the Leprechaun and Senator Billboard Rawkins. Now, you may think, oh, it's about a man and his daughter from Ireland who get mixed up with locals and a leprechaun in South USA. Yes, but no. The impetus for writing this story was rabid liberal Yip Harburg's hatred for racist Mississippi Senator Theodore Bilbo. He wanted to write a story where a racist Southern senator gets turned black to see what it's like. At the same time, he's reading a story by James Stephen called The Crock of Gold about Ireland and thought, I can combine these things. So he invented Finian from Ireland and the white racist senator whom he turns black just to show how it feels. He not only turns him black, he turns him into a gospel singer at that. The movie, which is terrible, and directed by Francis Ford Coppola, has Keenan Wynn as the senator and puts him in blackface for the transformation. On Broadway, the role was divided between a white actor and a black actor. Now, John Kilford tells a story that he was appearing in a summer stock version of Phineas Rainbow, and they in the 50s, and they were at the Westbury Music Fair. And, you know, there's different aisles going out from the stage. And when he's supposed to change from white to black, they couldn't afford two actors, so they did put this actor in blackface. And he was met in the middle of the aisle during a blackout by people taking clothes off, putting clothes on him, and making him black and putting him back up. It was a quick change that happened within 45 seconds. One day, the actor went up the wrong aisle. At the same time, an audience member wants to go to the bathroom. Yes. They tear his clothes up, put blackface on him, throw him on stage, lights come up, and he's standing there going, Alice. Alice. I love that. I have no idea. I think he's still at the Westbury Music Fair. Phineas Rainbow opened on Broadway on January 10th, 1947 at Broadway's 46th Street Theater. The musical, directed by, get this name, Brattain Windust. Windust. Not Endust. Brattain Windust, who had a long career directing plays on Broadway from 1930 on, and this was his one and only musical. It was choreographed by Michael Kidd and it ran for 725 performances. Now that that's out of the way, it's the wonderful score that we're here to concentrate on tonight. Now, Sharon wonders why her father has dragged her halfway around the world to land in Rainbow Valley, Mississippi, where their sharecroppers are about to have their land taken away for taxes. Now, they insist on waiting for Woody, who will have the money. By the way, the Woody character evidently is based on Woody Guthrie. Finian explains to Sharon that American millionaires convert their wealth into gold and bury it near Fort Knox. He concludes that it's the soil in Fort Knox that makes the U.S. rich. And reveals that he has a crock of gold stolen from a leprechaun, which he intends to bury. Woody and the sharecroppers re-enter, and when Woody doesn't have enough money for the taxes, Finian pays the rent. Finian and Sharon are welcomed by the sharecroppers. Now, Sharon explains her father's philosophy of following her dream. Now, to explain to us, please welcome the delectable Kathy Kaefer. Now that night, Finian buries the gold and marks the spot, only to be met by Og, the leprechaun he stole it from. Now without his gold, Og is slowly becoming mortal, and he needs that gold back. Sharon and Woody come looking for Finian, but are soon distracted by the moonlight and each other. Please welcome, as Woody, the inevitable Tommy J. Dose. Tommy J. Dose and Tara Martinez. Now, Og continues to search for the gold. Sharon confronts Senator Rawkins and wishes him black while standing over the pot of gold. Woody informs the locals there is gold in their land and the Shears Robust Company has offered them all free credit charge accounts. And Act 2 continues. Oh boy. The authorities accuse Sharon of witchcraft for turning the senator black. Susan finds the gold and dances off with it. Woody and Sharon agree to marry. Now, the wedding is interrupted by the arrest of Sharon on grounds of witchcraft. Og mistakes Susan for Sharon, but realizes it may be Susan after all. But here, as Og, the too-tall leprechaun, is the indubitable William TN Hall.
Oh, Sharon. I'm 90% mortal now and 100% miserable. It's a frenzy. It's a frenzy. And there's no cure for it. You're not Sharon at all. You're Susan the Silent. And yet I still feel the same frenzy for you. Is this what it's like to be mortal? Is every girl like every girl? I'm beginning to like it. Oh, my heart is beating wildly, and it's all because you're here. When I'm not near the girl I love the girl I'm near. Every femme that flutters by me is a flame that must be fanned. When I can fondle the hand that I'm fond of, I fondle the hand at hand. My heart's in a pickle, I'm constantly fickle, and not too particular I fear. When I'm not near the girl I love the girl I'm near. What if they're tall and tender? What if they're small and slender? Long as they've got that gender, I surrender. Always I can't refuse them. Always my feet pursues them. Long as they've got a bosom, I lose them. I'm confessing a confession, and I hope I'm not verbose. When I'm not close to the kiss that I cling to the kiss that's close. As I'm more and more immortal, I am more and more a case. When I'm not facing the face that I fancy the face I face. For Sharon I'm caring, but Susan I'm choosing. I'm faithful to whose is here. When I'm not near the girl I love the girl I'm near.
That's William TN Hall. Now, Finian runs in to tell Og Sharon is in danger. But Og reveals he doesn't have the gold. Susan knows but can't speak. And Og wishes that she could speak while he's standing over the spot that hides the gold. They take the gold, wish the senator his natural color, but much more liberal now that he's been there. Woody and Sharon marry. Og and Susan are now together. And Finian takes off saying, maybe there's no pot of gold at the end of it, but there's a beautiful new world under it. The end. It says here, change card. Okay, Bob, is that all right with you? So, Baby is a musical with a book by Sybil Pearson based on a story developed with Susan Yankowitz with music by David Shire and lyrics by Richard Maltby Jr. It opened December 4th, 1983 at the Barrymore Theater and ran for 241 performances, closing July 1st, 1984. I saw the show a couple of times. I thought it was the most charming thing, but it never really found an audience. Frank Rich, in his review, said, at a time when nearly every Broadway musical, good and bad, aims for the big kill with gargantuan pyrotechnics, here is a modestly scaled entertainment that woos us with such basic commodities as warm feelings, an exuberant cast, and a lovely score. Perfect Baby is not, but it often makes up in buoyancy and charm what it lacks in forceful forward drive. To keep up with the varied ages of the characters, Mr. Shire writes with sophistication over a range that embraces rock, jazz, and the best of Broadway schmaltz. Mr. Maltby's lyrics are not just smart and funny, but often ingenious. Now, it concerns three couples. Danny and Lizzie, the teenage couple living together, who discover they're pregnant. Pam and Nick, the very active athletic couple, who have been trying to have a child for years. And Arlene and Alan, the older couple who have grown children, and pregnancy is a complete surprise. Now, the three soon-to-be mothers find themselves together in the doctor's office when they discover they're going to have a baby. They declare how they're going to handle each situation. So please welcome Laura Pavles, Alison Nusbaum, and Meg Flather. Meanwhile, Danny is trying to convince Lizzie to marry him for the 100th time. And after out touring with the band, Lizzie finally consents, and Danny comes home and writes a song. Once again, please welcome, as Danny at the piano, William TN Hall.
As I leave my single life behind, thoughts are kind of spinning in my mind. First I think about you, then I think about me loving you, then I think about you and me deciding we should be one. It's crazy, I know. I wrestle with my pillow all night long, and I look at you. I know I chose right. Life's a very long road, and the crossroads come up right away, and it's sure hard to know which way to go when you've barely begun. And oh, the road you leave behind can shine so bright, and I look at you, and I know I chose right. Now maybe we don't mean that much, you and I, and maybe our balloon will never fly, and maybe no one cares if we let times go by, and maybe it doesn't matter if we live or die. But if I'm making promises to you today, I wanna know I'll keep them all the way. And if I've not been good at meaning what I say, it's time now to try. So I think about you, and I think about me loving you, and I think of my friends who think they're in love when they're just having fun. But I say no, no, no. If I'm gonna love you, it's with all my heart. And I will be true. I will follow this through. And I look at you, and I know I chose right.
That's William TN Hall. Now, Arlene finds herself on a park bench, wondering how she got to this point in her life. And once again, here's the indisputable Meg Flather.
break away and end up having to start again. Patterns through the day I seem to use to give my life a shape. Patterns through the house I use to comfort when I need escape. Patterns that get me nowhere at all.
That's Meg Flather. Am I still here?
We are.
I'll find it here somewhere. Macbeth, no. Bob, Andy, Bob. At the conclusion of Act 2, it's Lizzie that is giving birth. But Act 1 concludes with Lizzie realizing her role in motherhood. So please welcome once again the unsinkable Laura Pavles.
Tale
Change color.
Thank you.
Tired of this one already, huh? I gotta explain. I'm using some real music, but I'm using music on this iPad. So sometimes it's not there. You know what it's like. All right, now, sit back. There's some stories here. Stephen Sondheim and Al Prince were looking for a light romantic comedy to musicalize and settled upon a play by Jean Anouilh. I looked that up and that's how you say it. That had been translated by Christopher Fry into a play called Ring Round the Moon. They contacted his reps, Jean Anouilh. And the answer was no. A few years later, and a few hits and a few Tonys under their belts, they thought they'd try again. And again, the answer was no. Or no. Now, Prince had contacted writer Hugh Wheeler already, assuming that they were going to get the rights. But Wheeler and Prince put their heads together and came up with two properties similar to Ring Round the Moon. Renoir's Rules of the Game and Bergman's Smiles of a Summer Night. They consulted Sondheim and settled on Bergman, who gave his approval. The result was what Hal Prince called whipped cream with knives. A Little Night Music, which opened at the Schubert Theater February 25th, 1973, and closed 601 performances later on August 3rd, 1974. The action centers around the 19th century distinguished actress Desiree Armfeld, who was out to rekindle a relationship with lawyer Frederic Egerman, who has just married a flighty young girl despite the fact that he is a son the same age. He visits Desiree backstage, and here is Desiree and Frederick, Sidney Myer and Aaron Morishita.
She lightens my sadness, she livens my days, she bursts with a kind of madness, my well-ordered ways, my happiest mistake, the ache of my life. You must be my wife. She She bubbles with pleasure, she glows with surprise, disrupts my accustomed leisure, and ruffles my ties. I can't think even now quite how it began. You must be my wife, my Anne. 1,000 whims to which I give in, yet her smallest tear turns me ashen. I never dreamed that I could live in so completely demented, contented a fashion. So sun-like, so winning, so unlike a wife. I do think that I'm beginning to show signs of life. Don't ask me how it might still can grow. If you met my wife, you'd know.
Oh, dear Frederick, I'm just longing to meet her sometime.
She sparkles,
How pleasant.
she twinkles.
How nice.
Her youth is a sort of present.
Whatever the Right.
The incandescent what the light of my life. You must meet my wife.
Yes, I must. I really must.
She flutters.
Charming.
She twitters.
My word.
She floats.
Isn't that alarming? What is she? A bird?
She makes me feel I'm what?
A very old man.
Yes. No.
No,
But
I must meet your Gertrude.
I am.
Oh, sorry, I.
She loves my voice, my walk, my mustache. The cigar, in fact, that I'm smoking. She'll watch me puff until it's just ash. Then she'll save the cigar, but
Bizarre, but you're joking.
she dotes on
Your dimple.
my snoring.
How dear.
The point is, she's really simple.
Yes, that much seems
She
clear.
gives me funny names like Old Dry as Dust.
She just.
You must meet my wife.
If I must, yes, I must.
A sea of whims that I'm submerged in, yet so lovable in repentance. Unfortunately, still a virgin, but you can't force a flower.
Don't finish that sentence. She's monstrous.
She's frightened,
Unfeeling.
unversed. She'd strike you as unenlightened.
No, I'd strike her
For apprehension.
first.
No,
Yes,
no.
Frederick.
You must meet my wife.
Let me get my hat and my knife.
What was that?
I must meet your wife.
Yes,
Sondheim wrote, despite being completely wrong for the part of the imperious, elegant ex-courtesan in physicality and personality, Hermione Gingold insisted upon auditioning. She arrived without an accompanist and without preparing a song, so she did a music hall number a cappella. She finished, thanked them for allowing her to audition against their better judgment, although that was never implied. And right before leaving said, I noticed the script says Madame Armfeld is 74. So am I. It also says when she dies at the end, her wig slips off a bit of her head. With that, she grabbed her own wig, pulled it off her head to reveal she was completely bald. She put the wig back on and walked out. They offered her the part before she left the theater. Don't expect such theatrics. From our own Madame Armfeld this evening, please welcome the divine Sally Darling.
At the villa of the Baron de Signac, where I spent a somewhat infamous year. At the villa of the Baron de Signac, I had ladies in attendance, fire opal pendants. Liaisons, what's happened? Liaisons today, disgraceful. What's become of them? Some of them hardly pay their shoddy way. What once was a rare champagne is now just an amiable hock. What once was a villa, at least, is digs. What once was a gown with train is now just a simple little frock. What once was a sumptuous feast is figs. No, not even figs. Raisins. Oh, liaisons. Where was I? the palace of the Duke of Ferrara, who was prematurely deaf, but a dear. At the palace of the Duke of Ferrara, I acquired some position, plus a tiny Titian. Liaisons, what's happened to them? Liaisons today. To see them, indiscriminate women, it pains me more than I can say. The lack of taste that they display. Where is style? Where is skill? Where is forethought? Where's discretion of the heart? Where's passion in the art? Where's craft? With a smile and a will, but with more thought, I acquired a chateau extravagantly overstaffed. Too many people muddle sex with mere desire, and when emotion intervenes, the nets descend. It should on no account perplex, or worse, inspire. It's but a pleasurable means to a measurable end. Why does no one comprehend? Let us hope this lunacy is just a trend. But where was I? Where? Oh, yes. In the castle of the King of the Belgians. We would visit through a false chiffonier. In the castle of the King of the Belgians, who, when things got rather touchy, deeded me a duchy. Liaisons, what's happened? Liaisons today, untidy. Take my daughter, I taught her, I tried my best to point the way. I even named her Desiree. In a world where the kings are employers, where the amateur prevails and delicacy fails to pay, in a world where the princes are lawyers, what can anyone expect except to recollect liaisons?
That's Sally Darling. Now, in addition to pursuing Frederick, Desiree is mistress to the very military Karl Magnus, who barged in on Desiree and Frederick. Now, he is a long-suffering and very wise wife, Charlotte, who confers with Frederick's wife, Anne, on the state of marriage and fidelity. Please welcome back as Charlotte, Alison Nusbaum, and as Anne, Kathy Kaefer.
Every day a little dead, in the parlor, in the bed, in the curtains, in the silver, in the buttons, in the bread. Every day a little stain, in the heart and in the head. Every movement, every breath, and you hardly feel a thing, brings a perfect little death. He smiles sweetly, strokes my hair, says he misses me. I would murder him right there, but first I die. He talks
Well, Act 1 has set up a trip to visit Desiree, her mother, Madame Armfeld, and her tween daughter, Frederica. If you get it? Good, you got it. So the finale of Act 1 called for what Hal Prince called a mini operetta, where every character has a scene about going or not going to the Armfelds for the weekend. Hold on.
Ma'am, an invitation here. Ma'am, delivered by hand. And ma'am, I noticed the stationery's engraved and very grand. Petra, how to excite just when I need it. Petra, such elegant writing, so chic you hardly can read it. What do you think? Who could it be? Even the ink, oh here, let me. Your presence, just think of it, Petra, is kindly. It's at a chateau, requested, etc. Madam Leonora, oh no! A weekend in the country. We're invited. What a horrible plot. A weekend in the country. I'm excited. No, you're not. A weekend in the country. Just imagine. It's completely depraved. A weekend in the country. It's a great. It's that woman. It's that Orphan. Oh, the actress. So the goal. She'd be home to make her charm felt. But she's mad if she thinks I would be such a fool as to weekend in the country. How insulting. And I've nothing to wear. A weekend in the country. Yeah. The last place I'm going is there. Guess what? An invitation. That's who begins with an A. Felt, is that a relation to the decrepit Desiree? Yes, where we're asked to go, sir. See, sir, the date there. Guess where? A fancy chateau, sir. Yes, two who's lying in wait. They're setting her traps, fixing her face.
Darling, perhaps a change of pace.
Oh no!
And the country is exciting if the air would be fresh.
A weekend with that woman
In the country,
in the flesh.
I've some business with her mother.
See, it's business. Oh, you don't. And the business with her mother would be hardly the business I'd worry about.
Just a weekend in the country, smelling jasmine.
Watching little things grow.
A weekend in the country.
Oh!
My darling will simply say no.
A weekend. A very amusing. A weekend.
But also inept.
A weekend, of course we're refusing.
Au contraire, you must accept.
Oh, no.
A weekend in the country.
But it's awful.
No, you don't understand. A weekend in the country is delightful if it's planned. Wear your hair down and a flower. Don't use makeup, dress in white. She'll grow older by the hour and be hopelessly shattered by Saturday night. Spend the weekend in the country.
We'll accept it.
I had a feeling you would. Weekend in the country.
Yes. It's only polite that we should. Good.
Well,
I'm an intriguing little socialite.
what?
Out of the Armfeld family man's.
Well, what?
Merely a weekend still, I won't invite amuse you to know who's invited to go. This time with his pants.
Don't mean
I'll give you 3 guesses.
no hint.
Reduce it to 2.
It can be.
Nevertheless, it's
Angerman!
right score 1 for you.
A weekend in the country, we should try it.
How I wish we'd been asked.
A weekend in the country, peace and quiet.
We'll go masked.
A weekend in the country.
Uninvited. They'll consider it odd.
A weekend in the country, I'm delighted.
Oh my God.
And the shooting should be pleasant. If the weather's not too rough, happy birthday, it's your present. You haven't been getting out nearly enough. Weekend in the country.
It's perverted.
Had my quivering bow. A weekend in the country. Exactly 2:30 we go.
We can't.
We shall.
We shan't.
I'm getting the car and we're motoring down.
Yes, I'm certain you are, but I'm staying in town.
Pack my suits.
I won't.
I won't. Everything my own. Oh, Charlotte,
I'm thinking it out.
Charlotte,
There's no need to shout.
Charlotte.
Right then, we're off on our way on a beautiful day for a weekend in the country. How amusing, how delightfully droll. A weekend in the country while we're losing our control. A weekend in the country, how enchanting on the manicured lawns. A weekend in the country with the panting and the yawns, with the crickets and the pheasants and the orchards and the hay, with the servants and the peasants. We'll be lighting up lights while we're playing croquet. Or a weekend in the country, so inactive that one has to lie down. A weekend in the country.
Can I tell you, that has been a bucket list item of mine. And these people, oh my God. I don't think I'm talking out of school when I tell you we had 2 rehearsals. But back from my amazement, they were rehearsing toward the end of the show, and Len Cariou, there was a scene between Frederick and Desiree, and Len Cariou said to Prince and Sondheim, I think it needs a song here. And they thought about it, and then the very next day, Sondheim and Al Prince pulled Len Cariou aside and said, we have good news and bad news. The good news is, yes, it did need a song there. The bad news is, it's Glynis's. Please welcome back Desiree and Frederick.
Shall I tell you why I did invite you here? Well, after we met again and made love, I thought, well, maybe this is at last my chance to turn turn back and have some happiness and have a coherent existence after so many years of muddle. Of course, I know there is your wife, but I thought, just perhaps, you'd be in need of rescue too.
From renewing my unrenewable youth. When my eyes are open and I look at you, I see a woman that I have loved for a long time, who entranced me all over again when I came to her rooms, who gives me such genuine pleasure. I came, despite my better instincts, I came here for the sheer delight of being with her again. A woman who could rescue me? Of course. But when my eyes are not open, which is most of the time, all I see is a girl in a pink dress, teasing a canary, running across a sunlit garden to hug me at the gate, as if I'd just come home from Timbuktu, rather than the municipal courthouse 3 blocks away.
Isn't it queer losing my timing this late in my career? And where are the clouds? There ought to be clouds. Well, maybe next year.
Now, Petra, Anne, and Frederick's maid has just had a go in the hay with Frid, who was Madame Ornfeld's servant. While he's sleeping next to her, she sits up and ruminates about her future. Please welcome back the illuminating Tara Martinez.
I shall marry the miller's son. Pin my hat on a nice piece of property. Friday nights for a bit of fun. We'll go dancing. Meanwhile, it's a wink and a wiggle and a giggle in the grass and I'll trip the light fandango, a pitch and a diddle in the middle of what passes by. It's a very short road from the pinch and the punch to the paunch and the pouch and the pension. It's a very short road to the 10,000 punch and the belch and the grouch and the sigh. In the meanwhile, there are mouths to be kissed, your mouths to be fed, and a lot in between. In the meanwhile, and a girl ought to celebrate what passes by.
Tara Martinez. Before we end this, I have a few thank yous to make. To everyone here, Don't Tell Mama, Sidney Myer for the use of the hall. Please remember your waitstaff, Randy, Johnny Mercado on lights and sound. This ridiculously talented cast, thank you. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Our next show is Friday, June 29th. We'll be saluting the great reviews of Broadway like New Faces of 1952, John Murray Anderson's Almanac, and Sugar Babies. And now back to a little Eine kleine Nacht music. So, where are we? Anne has run off with her stepson Henrik. Carl Magnus and Charlotte have gone home together. And we find Frederick passed out on the lawn due to plot complications. Son, I wrote that. With Desiree beside him.
Here at last on the ground,
You in midair, knees wobbling.
no, it seems not. In fact, it's hardly possible that
Was that a farce?
my fault, I fear.
Me as a merry-go-round.
Me as King Lear. How unlikely life is to lose one's son, one's wife, and practically one's life within an hour. And yet to feel relieved. Relieved, and what's more, certainly less ancient. Desiree.
Poor Frederick.
No. We shall banish poor from a vocabulary and replace it with coherent.
Coherent.
Don't you remember your manifesto in the bedroom? A coherent existence after so many years of muddle. Me and you. And of course, Frederica. Make
Thank you.